Hello my friends, all over the world, wherever you are. William Poloniak here again from Whole Health Foundation. In today's video, I'm going to make more watermelon juice with the rind and with some limes and turmeric. Here are my ingredients. First, I have one whole watermelon with seeds. I'm going to put in 3 limes that I've already peeled, but I'm only putting in 3 limes, and about 100 grams of turmeric. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to peel off the rind and set that aside and shred that later. So I'm peeling away the rind and I'm going to set that aside and shred the rind later with the turmeric and the limes. And I'll continue now cutting off the rind. Alright, I've sliced the watermelon flesh into manageable slabs, and I've got the watermelon rind here. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to shred the watermelon rind with the turmeric and with the limes, and I'm going to set that aside, and then I'm going to do my watermelon flesh over here. So let me start with the watermelon rind. Keep this covered at all times. Now for some turmeric. One of the limes. A little more turmeric on top of that. I've already shred the rind, the turmeric, which you can see here, and the limes. I'm going to set that aside and press that later. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to press the juice out of the red flesh. Let's set that aside, and I'm going to get the cloths out of the freezer. I've just taken my cloths out of the freezer, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to line it with a bamboo liner and then start pressing the red flesh. The bamboo liners are to prevent fruit or greens only juices from sticking to the cloth. So we'll fold that over. Normally I would put 2 cloths full of pulp in the press at the same time, but these slabs look pretty thick, so I'm going to do them one at a time. All the way back it off a little bit. Alright, we'll center this left to right, front to back, all the way back it off a tiny bit. And once again, I'm going to open up the bamboo liner, and we're not throwing away the pulp. We're saving the pulp because we're going to shred this pulp later and see how much more juice we can get out of it if we shred it. If you want a quick watermelon juice, you do just what I'm doing here. But if you want to maximize your yield, you'll shred the watermelon pulp later and you'll get more juice. Alright, I'm down to the last of my red watermelon pulp, and you'll notice here I'm saving the pressed pulp, which I'm going to shred later. Alright, I'm setting aside this pressed watermelon flesh, and the next thing I'm going to do is I'm setting aside the red juice, and I'm going to press the watermelon rind pulp into a separate container. So we'll set this aside. I want to point out again, when you set this back so it doesn't drip on your counter, don't do it a little bit, do it a lot so it's very, very obvious. So I'll set that juice aside, get another container, and this watermelon flesh is going to go in this container to be shred later. And now I can probably that one looks pretty tattered, so I'm going to start with a new one. We're down to my last bamboo liner, so we'll have to get another roll. And we'll start now to juice the watermelon rind pulp. about a cup to a cup and a half of watermelon rind pulp. Fold the cloth over. This time I'm going to set this aside. Put more watermelon rind pulp. And again, never hit it from the top because you're going to force the pulp to go up. Hit it on the side and going down. Alright, we have 2 cloths full of pulp, centered left to right, front to back. Make sure the tray's on securely all the way back. Back it off a little bit. And we're collecting now the rind juice. And I'm going to mix the rind juice that has the limes and the turmeric with the red flesh juice, mix it together and then bottle it. And then, look over here, I'm going to shred the watermelon red pulp again, the spent pulp, and see how much more juice we can get out of it. Alright, you can see here I've got the rind juice, which is much more green. I've got the red flesh juice here. I've already shred the red pulp remains, and I'm adding the rind pulp to that because I know there's a lot more essence in that rind pulp. And I've got a new roll of bamboo liners here because I used up my last one in the last process. And we'll put about a half of a container, which is about a cup's worth of pulp. And I'm going to press 2 cloths full of reprocessed pulp. And I'm going to let that flow into this container because it's only half full. Centered left to right, front to back, all the way back. Back it off a little bit. Okay, I kind of overloaded that cloth, so I'm pressing that by itself instead of 2 cloths at once. And we'll put the rest of this pulp in this last cloth. Hold the bamboo liner over. Okay, while my last cloth full of reprocessed pulp is squeezing, what I'm going to do with this is fold it into a ball and press it again because I want to see how much more juice we can get using the Whole Health Foundation premium model juicer that has the bottom base plate. The base plate incidentally has a lifetime warranty, and you can leave the press up as long as you want. Now look at my folding technique. Look a little closer. I'm folding it under to minimize slippage. And I'm going to pull that into a tight ball, fold it under again, and flatten it, set that aside. And we'll process this into a tight ball just like we did the other one. Do the same thing in the other direction, folding it under, flatten it, and I'm going to put both of these cloths in. Press it. But this time I'm going to use a measuring beaker to see how much extra juice we get. All the way back, back it off. And as you can see, we can leave that up for a half a minute or longer. It just depends how much time you want to take to extract the last little bit of juice. And I want to point out that your last 10% of any press has your most valuable nutrients. So we still have a pretty steady juice flow here. Now what I'm going to do with this cloth is I'm going to fold it into a tighter ball and see if we can get even more juice out of it. And I'm taking this pulp and forming it into another tight ball. And let's see if we can get even more juice out of this. That's the advantage of this bottom premium press plate. It's indestructible. It has a lifetime warranty. And so far we have 250 milliliters. Let's see how much more we get by folding that again. And remember, there's a lot more nutrient in the last 10% of your press. So all the way back it off. As soon as we get juice flow, I'll back it off. Let it go up a little bit. There we have juice flow. I'm going to back it off because we do not want that to go up too fast. A little more. And then all the way. So we're up to 300 milliliters already. 350, so we got another 100 milliliters of juice by packaging it into a tighter ball. Well, you get the idea. Let's not wait for every last thimbleful. Set that back. I'm going to put this in this container. And now what I'm going to do is mix both of these into the same container and then bottle it. So let's start with the rind and reprocessed pulp juice. Let's pour it into here. And I'm going to ladle that in to these pouring jars. We have 10 bottles of juice. And I want to point out I never fill it right to the top. I leave about 10% for filtered or distilled water because the juice is very, very concentrated and much, much too sweet. Alright, now I'm adding distilled water to top off my juices. You can use filtered water. I use distilled water because I have a water distiller and it's pure water. Now I'm putting the caps on. I want to point out that it's very important to fill your bottles until it's overflowing. See if you can do a close-up of that. So you want a convex curve on there so there's no air in the bottle whatsoever, and this will give you your longest shelf life. You should drink your juices in 5 days or less, but they can last up to 10 days. So today we got 10 bottles of juice. 10 bottles of watermelon juice, rind, seeds, and all. Now next I'm going to do a taste test. Alright, we have a little bit for a taste test. Watermelon with turmeric and 3 limes with rind, seeds, and all. Very delicious, and I can taste the lime in the juice. I hope you like what you've seen, my friends, and if you'd like to call me, my phone number is 760-753-0321. My email address is developtrust@cox.net, and my webpage is wholehealthfound.com. Delicious. See you in the next video.